Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jaden Rye here with Team Griplocked Discs. And today, I'm going to be taking you through what's in my bag. Let's get right into it. Come on! Let's go, baby! Alright, let's jump right into it. First off, I'm using a Grip A-Series bag. Absolutely love this thing. Very durable, very spacious, can hold lots of discs in here, and extremely comfortable. So I've been using this thing for probably over a year, and I really can't see myself using any other bag. So love the Grip bag, and without further ado, let's get right into the putters. So to start, I'm putting with Crazy Tough Lunas. Absolutely love these things. Ever since I switched back to an all Discraft bag, I picked these back up. Love the feeling of these. The stiff plastic just feels really good in my hand, and I just feel really confident with these on the putting green. So loving the Lunas. Getting into the throwing putters, I've got 4, starting with the backhand approach discs. So I've got a Crystal Sparkle Flex Banger GT. Absolutely love this thing. Not too much glide. I'd probably throw this thing anywhere around 100 to 250. Really, it'll hold any line I put it on. I just feel extremely confident with this disc. Backhand touchy shots. So loving this thing. Just got my hands on it, so I'm still going to be messing around with it, but I can see this staying in my bag. Moving on from that, I've got a 2020 Tour Series Luna. This thing's got a little bit more glide than the Banger, so it probably goes up to 300 feet, maybe a little bit more. But really like this thing. I can throw little turnover shots with this and just let it kind of like ride and pan out a little bit. But anything I need a little bit more distance than the Banger, I'll be throwing this. I'll mainly be using this for driving putters or just putter shots that I need to go a little bit further. So moving on to my zones, I bagged 2. First off, we've got a 4-claw Z zone, which is my beat up zone. You'll be seeing me throw this a lot over this season and hopefully for more seasons to come. Absolutely love this thing. I can really trust this on any angle. This is definitely a workhorse in my bag and probably my favorite disc, and one of my most thrown discs. So absolutely love this zone. And moving on from that, I've got a Z Flex zone, which is a bit more stable than that. Can handle a lot more torque. This one's fairly straight. This one's nice and overstable, so it holds up in the wind really well. And so anytime I need to throw this a little bit harder or need to deal with a little bit more wind, I'll be throwing this one. Moving on to my mid-ranges, I've got 5. So we'll start with the most understable of the 5. And that'll be the Buzz SS. So really liking the Buzz SS. Great for hyzer flip up shots, little bit of turnover. But this thing feels amazing in my hand. I feel extremely confident with it, especially in the woods. So you'll mainly be seeing me throw this in controlled shots. But it just comes out of my hand super clean and I trust it a lot. So moving on from that, I've got the 4-time ESP Claw Buzz. Really like this thing. This thing's probably been in the bag for about a year and a half. Got me a nice little money ace. But I love this thing for a little hyzer flip up to flat shot. If I throw it on hyzer, it'll hold it for the most part. Throw it flat, maybe slightly just turn to the right and just hold it. But yeah, now this thing is real nice. Bit more stable than this Buzz SS, but absolutely love this Buzz, and there's a reason why I still have it in the bag a year and a half later. Moving up from that, I've just got a regular Z Buzz, so anytime I need to add a bit more power onto my shot, this Buzz handles the torque unlike the 4-claw. But yeah, a bit more stable. Can really trust this thing, even in a little bit of wind. Really like the Buzz. So if you don't have one already, go get you a Buzz. Best mid-range in the game. Moving on from that, I've got a Big Z Malta. Very nice overstable mid-range. Fights the wind. Feels very comfortable in the hand, so can really trust this thing whether I need it to flex a little bit in the woods or hold up in the wind. Real nice disc. the top off my mid-ranges, I've got a First Run Buzz OS. Very overstable. This is really the only mid-range I throw with on a forehand. Anytime I need it to go a little further than the zones, but not as far as my Raptors, this is the disc I reach to. Very overstable, holds up in the wind, real nice, can throw it on some flex lines. Like I said, really trust this thing, and anytime I need it to go a little bit further in the zone, I'll reach for this thing. All right, moving on to my fairways. I've got 5. Starting off with the most understable, I've got a TI Undertaker. This thing is real nice for little hyzer flip up shots to push and straight or turnovers. Another disc that I really like in the woods. I don't really throw it too much out in the open because you don't need too many understable discs out in the open. So this thing's real nice for shaping shots in the woods. And then to go with that, I've got an ESP Undertaker. It's got a bit more stability, real nice and straight. I can throw it on any angle and it'll hold it. Like I said, feel really confident with these Undertakers in the woods just because they don't have much fade at all. And so I just feel really confident with them. Moving on from that, I've got a Raptor, Andrew Presnell Raptor. This thing's real nice. I can rip it forehand or forehand, backhand, just real straight. And it'll nice get a consistent fade at the end. Really nice disc. Love my Raptors. I feel like I can control them real well. And to move on from that, I've got a Captain's Raptor, which is pretty overstable. I didn't think I'd need a Captain's Raptor at first because I have a Machete and that Raptor. But after getting one and throwing it a bunch, really glad I got this disc. Absolutely love it. Can shape shots, holds up in the wind real well. And so you'll be seeing me throw this thing a lot this year. Topping off my fairways, I've got an Onyx. This thing is real nice. I can rip on it hard and it'll just glide for days. Pretty straight with a nice consistent fade at the end. Like I said, with the Undertaker, it's basically can hold any line I put it on. Flat, it'll hold it. Annie, it'll hold it. And just slowly pan out. Hyzer, it'll hold it. It's basically just a further Undertaker for me. Feels really great in the hand. And can definitely see myself bagging an Onyx for a while. Moving on to my distance drivers. I've got quite a few. Starting with the slowest, I've got a First Run Z Machete. This thing is a meat hook, easily the most overstable disc in my bag. I throw this thing a lot on flex lines, big skip shots, flex forehands, grenades. Great utility disc. Holds up in the wind, and I know exactly what it's going to do, whether it's calm or not. So love the Machete. Moving on from that, going into my 12 speeds, I bagged 2 Zeus's. First off with the most understable. This is a 1057 ESP Swirly Zeus. Absolutely love this thing. It's mainly a forehand disc for me, but you'll see me occasionally throw this on maybe some turnover backhand shots or some backhand shots in the woods. This thing is beat in pretty nicely, and so it doesn't have too much fade to it. So it kind of just gets out of whatever angle I throw it on and just kind of sits real nicely. So feel really confident with this thing in the woods. And like I said, main forehand disc, but absolutely love the Zeus, one of my go-to drivers. And then moving on from that, my other Zeus, this is a Z Zeus, bit more stable than that, and it's a nice addition. I just got added to the bag in between that Zeus and my Force. This thing's real nice. I'm still learning it a little bit, but nice and stable, so I can work it on several different angles. Great forehand disc for putting a little more torque on it, but not as fine, as stable as my Forces. So absolutely loving the Zeus's. Moving on, I bag 2 Forces. First off with the flippier one. This is my most stable, but this one's real nice. It's step up from that Z Zeus. Can really trust it in the wind, forehand, backhand. Just really nice, kind of straight flight with a nice consistent fade. And then going off of that, I've got this 2020 Austin Hannum Force. This thing, 1, it looks really pretty, and 2, feels amazing as well. Throw this thing on little flex forehands or just flat backhands, just something that I need a bit more finish than this Z Force. So absolutely love the Forces, and definitely a staple in my bag and a lot of other pros bags. Moving on to the last mold of the distance drivers, I have 4 nukes, starting with the flippiest. I've got a Big Z nuke. This thing is a bomber. Throw it on hyzer, flip up, turn, maybe a little bit of fade depending on how much tailwind there is, but this thing doesn't come out too often just because it's very flippy and very touchy. It's my max distance roller disc and a max distance disc if I've got a great tailwind, but this thing most of the time will flip over and not really come back and just get a bunch of distance. So loving the Big Z nuke. And to step up from that is my new 2020 ESP nuke. This thing is real nice, and it's on the flippier side for brand new nukes. So I'm still messing around with it, but love this thing. It flies somewhat similar to this Big Z nuke, but it's got more fade at the end of it. So I'm curious to see how this thing flies as soon as it beats up, because it might just replace this Big Z nuke, but can love this thing, put it on a good rip and know what it's going to do. I love throwing it forehands. It gets a nice little turn out of it, full flight, probably max distance forehand for me. But absolutely love this thing. Moving up from that, I've got a Page Pierce ESP nuke, bit more stable than that one. This one's real nice. I can throw it forehand, backhand, know that it's going to go or release on hyzer, flip up, get a little turn, fade at the end. Just absolutely love the nukes. Great bomber discs. I don't really throw these too much in the woods just because they've got a lot of skip and a lot of fade, so I don't have too much control over the finish of them, but once I get out to the open, these things will be flying everywhere. To top off my distance drivers, I've got a Nuke OS. This thing is real beefy, nice and flat, feels amazing in the hand, and it's more overstable than my Austin Hannum Force, which is real nice. I can shape shots, flex forehands, flex backhands, big skips. Absolutely love this Nuke OS, and a go-to out here in the windy conditions. So loving this thing. And to top off my bag, got a nice little secret pocket back here with my utility disc 5-claw ESP Avenger SS. This thing's been in the bag for probably 2 years, if not longer. This thing is, it's money. I can throw this thing on hyzer and know it'll flip over and roll. That's all I really ever use this disc for. It's too flippy, so I don't ever throw this anywhere else, but super nice. I can trust it on rollers anywhere between 350 to 500. It really doesn't go any further than that just because it's so flippy, depending on how much tailwind there is. But absolutely love this thing. Great roller disc, great utility disc for me, but honestly a very, very good beginner disc. So for those of you watching this, if you're just getting into disc golf, try and get yourself an Avenger SS. It's a great disc to learn. You don't have to throw too hard. You don't have to have a bunch of power to get this thing to do what you want. But great overall disc for both beginners and pros. Very touchy. You don't see me throwing this too much, but it's nice because even in the woods, I can get this thing down quick and rolling. So that about concludes my in the bag for the 2022 season. Like I said, I just recently switched back to an all Discraft bag, so I'll be throwing a few other discs in and out of the bag. I'll probably give y'all another update later on in the season, but as of now, I feel pretty confident with my lineup. And so comment below what your favorite disc is in my bag, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.